Good morning. Welcome to World Peace Wednesdays. And I know it always takes a little bit of time for people to pop in, so we're going to wait a little bit for this to happen. I'm so excited for anyone who is going to join us live, and maybe your life is busy enough that you'll be listening to the replay. No matter what it is, that's awesome. The impact and the effect of listening to the channeled message and the energetic transmission in it and then in addition to that, the universal sphere experience that we'll all share towards the end of our World Peace Wednesdays, that the energetic potency, if you will, of that is equally available whether you're listening to the replay or whether you're listening to it live. So that's one of the beautiful things about this time we live in, and those of us who work with energy, and we know that these energies, these vibrations, these embodiments that we're choosing actually transcend time and space. So we don't have to be in physical presence, and we also don't have to be there in the moment of it, and we can still receive a lot of benefits. So I'm going to just start by just telling you who I am. My name's Holly Hawkins Marwood, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Universal Sphere, which is part of what our experience is today. And I'm a co-founder with my husband, Paul Marwood, and together we have our business called Soul Genesis. And everything about our business, Soul Genesis, all the different things we do is all about us working in the field of our personal transformation to create that change in our life from the inside out, and how we can really live a better life. We really can live a better life. And so we help ourselves and other people awaken to the gifts of who we are in this moment. And so I'm also going to be channeling Ishara in a few minutes. And the question is, who is she? And Ishara is this lovely, lovely non-physical being who I started channeling at the end of 2011. And she's been a constant companion and advisor to us ever since then. And what she teaches us has been incredible and constantly changing, constantly growing with us. And she's the one who initially came through to bring us the universal sphere. And for those people who've learned the universal sphere, how to do it, and are using it in their everyday lives, or there are many people around the planet who are using it in their energy practice, their wellness practice with clients, have seen just some incredible things happening with it. And so we wanted to just offer World Peace Wednesdays as a way for us to really profoundly begin to live peace from the inside out. Because the reality is there's a lot to look at in the world today. All we have to do is look at our news feeds on our computer, even on Facebook, just scroll through it. And there are a lot of challenging things happening in the world relative to our human perspective. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of injustice. There are a lot of challenges going on right now. And it can be very destabilizing to us. It can also make us feel like the world is going in the wrong direction. And it also can make us feel a little bit incapable, if you will, of being strong enough to make a change. We can look at these things happening in the world and how can I have a positive impact on what's happening on the other side of the world, or even in another city in the country that I live in, where I'm not related to it at all. How do we make a big impact in a positive way? And the first thing we want to do is make sure we're not holding the energy of the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And that was an expression my mother loved to use, hell in a handbasket. So, the reality is we want to really begin to see ourselves as a creative manifester. And if we do, the way we view things makes a difference. Our inner game, the words we use, it all makes a difference. So we don't want to put our head in the sand and say these things aren't happening, but we also want to have it in the right energy and perspective so we stay in a good, positive place for us and allow that peace that we hold within to ripple out into the world. We definitely impact the world around us. Just notice in the times where you might feel really happy or joyful or excited, elated, and maybe you run into people who you know, And your excitement, your elation, the way you feel has a clear impact on the people around you, who you meet, whether they're close friends, whether they're somebody you're standing next to and chatting while you're waiting to check out with your groceries at the store. It really doesn't matter. We really impact each other, not just with our words, but with our presence. So if we can begin to really embody a sense of inner peace, a sense of inner peace that is steadfast, it's there no matter what the circumstances are around us. We keep ourselves in a really strong, powerful, energetic place, and we have a big impact on the world. And the way we prove that to ourselves is just try it out. People like to doubt, well, how can I, feeling peaceful about where I live in my little part of the world, impact things on the other side of the planet? Well, if we all embodied a greater sense of peace and trust, we really would be impacting what's happening on the planet. We are connected. Science has even proven that. There have been all kinds of studies done, and one that's coming to mind right now is one that was about conscious intentional prayer that was done, and the definable results in that community relative to crime rates and other things that happened in the time where group prayer was done. We are all connected. And we also don't have control about a lot of things, but we do have control about our sense of inner peace and what we allow to destabilize us and the way we look at the world. And so let's talk about that. Let's embody more of that. Let's create this conversation on a weekly basis around how we can become that beacon of peace in our own life and allow it to ripple out into our family, into our community, and into our worldview, and offering others a chance to connect with our vibration through that. So I am going to channel Ishara now. And I am a conscious channel, which means I, as Holly, am still present. I'm aware of what's being said. And, but I also open up my energy field, if you will. That's the best way to say it. And I allow Ishtar and her wisdom to come in and flow through me with her words. I do close my eyes, and that's because she gives me a lot of images, and it helps me stay connected with the images and not all the distractions that our eyes can bring in our everyday world. It allows me to shut that out and really tune in more deeply to her. So I'm going to be quiet now just for a moment, and then I'll begin sharing Ishtara's message. Welcome, great beings of light. My name is Ishtara. This morning, the foundational idea of what we're going to talk about with world peace will really be this idea, concept that's not new. This is not a new concept that's going to be discussed today. There are many talking about it. There's much awareness around it. And yet there's not much trust in it. And the idea is you as a conscious, creative manifester in your life. And the reason it's conscious, creative manifesting is because there's a lot of unconscious manifesting that's happening every single day in your life. And how do you unconsciously manifest? You unconsciously manifest through the background thoughts that you're thinking all day, every day. And it could show up as you being at work, and there's that person who's in the cubicle next to you, and you have some judgmental thoughts about them, and I wish they would learn how to be quiet, and they're always so loud, and I really don't like them. And all those ideas, do you know that you're consciously creating that? Not that you're creating their experience of being that way, but you are in the background creating more of it by your awareness of what's going on. And you could say, but that's the truth of what it is. They are loud and they are obnoxious, and I actually don't feel that great about them. And that all can be true. But as you ruminate on those thoughts, as you ruminate on that point of view, you are literally creating more of that energy. If you could see how your thoughts energetically go out into the world and literally create, imagine it like a beautiful cartoon, that out of your mind, out of your thoughts, that energy is going out there and forming exactly what you're thinking about. If you had an awareness and saw it that way, you would become quickly aware of how the world is always matching what you're thinking about. So you could say, well, how do I change a situation when someone else is behaving a particular way? Because this has a lot to do with world peace, doesn't it? And our view of what's going on in the world. But let's keep it to the person in the cubicle next to you at work. And the reality is that that person in the cubicle next to you is just doing their life the way they know. So one of the ways you can begin to shift your awareness and shift your creative manifestation is, number one, is you can begin to start asking some questions related to how you would prefer to feel. I wonder if it's possible for me to be in a cubicle next to this person and not be bothered by how they are. I wonder if tomorrow I'm not going to anticipate them being loud and annoy me, and that I'm not even going to hear them. And you can see that we could go on with these questions, but the idea here is that, can you imagine if you start getting curious? And this has been said many, many times before in many different ways, in many different places. Questions really create a new reality. So if you want to connect with what you're consciously thinking, and then you can begin to deconstruct it as a pathway to a different point of view through the questions. So how can I feel peaceful today, even if what I'm seeing and experiencing around me is not peaceful? Or another thing to say is, what would I choose to feel if I could have a choice about how I felt all day? What would I choose? Would I choose annoyance and frustration? Or would I choose a sense of peace and calmness and clarity? So that you really see yourself as that conscious manifester in every single moment. Now, the conscious piece of this also applies to the talk you have towards yourself. Oh, I'm always so annoyed and irritated by these people. It's judgmental against yourself, and you're magnifying more of that. So in any given moment, you could consciously say to yourself, I'm going to choose peace in this moment. I'm going to choose a calm point of view. I'm going to choose to be centered in myself, and I'm going to choose not to be destabilized by whatever the outside circumstances are in front of me or that I'm a part of. And when you decide and can choose consciously how you're feeling, you may not get there in a moment and go from agitation to total peace, but you could go from agitation, extreme agitation, to slight agitation. You could go from agitation to even feeling neutral. You may not go to all the way to a place of peace, but as you choose to be consciously aware and then notice that all of that is creating, and you can choose what you wish to create, and allow this to be a process for yourself. Allow yourself to see how you can co-creatively and consciously and intentionally create the experience you want to have. Now, you've had a lot of years of doing it a different way, mostly unconsciously. So be really patient and kind with yourself as you're working on what it is. But if you choose to live in a world that's peaceful, and you're looking at the evidence like around you of what's happening in the world that is proving to you that the world is not peaceful, you can really begin to consciously invoke the question of, can I be peaceful in a world that doesn't look peaceful right now to me, doesn't appear peaceful to me right now? How can I center peace in my life, even if what I see and experience is not peaceful? Because you're not going to change what's going on in the world without it emanating from you first. So see yourself as this conscious, intentional creator of what it is that you choose to have in your life, and you will slowly but surely magnetize more of that to you. And then as you are foundationally sitting in a greater experience of peace, or whatever it is that you choose to consciously create, you will begin to see that showing up more in the world around you. You'll see how the ripple effect will impact others around you as well. So play with this for a while and be really patient and kind with yourself, and understand that you're changing really an unconscious pattern to make it conscious, and then be in a choice around what direction you wish it to go. So play with this as your center of peace, and feel how it expands your energetic perspective of the world. And we'll take a pause now and then begin to do a group universal sphere. If you're on the call live or listening to it later, you can join in with the universal sphere. If you don't know how to do the universal sphere, that's fine. Open yourself. If you're in the right space in your life, open yourself to a place of receiving. The universal sphere brings in a unified field. And what this means is, this unified field is a field that contains all the knowledge, all the information, all the possibility within creation. And as you receive this universal sphere, it will be brought into your physical body and work its way through your energetic bodies, bringing you into a greater place of complete harmony. Many people feel very peaceful and relaxed and heart-centered. And if we can connect with any moment of peace in our lives, then we know that peace is possible. So even if for 5 minutes today you felt a sense of peace and calmness, maybe trust, then what that means is, if you can feel it in that 5 minutes, in that short time period, it means it is possible. It means it's available. It's not lost. And that, as you connect in with the idea of this multidimensional, complete sense of peace that comes through really deeply embodying a unified field, if you can connect with that, you know it's possible. It's possible for the world. And so it means it's possible to bring that awareness into any moment that's not feeling peaceful and calm and centered to you. And how do you do that? Breathe in, drop down into your core and into your center, and literally invite a greater vibration of peace into your space. You don't need to look at the evidence in the world around you to say, I can't feel peaceful, because you still always have the option to invoke it into your own space. So in this moment, the universal sphere is being created, opening yourself to receive. As you entrain with multidimensional possibility, it means you access more information from the unified field, more solution energy than you ever knew was possible. For this unified field is a field of infinite possibilities. All solutions exist within the field of infinite possibilities. Open yourself up to possibilities in your life, in your experience, that are beyond what you knew was possible for you. Allow your breathing to be full and complete. Surrender to the moment. And the universal sphere now is being placed into, through, and around each and every one of you, live or listening to the replay. You may be aware of the energy of this in the moment, and you may just see the ripple effect of it later on as you move through your day. Trusting and allowing. And notice now, if you asked yourself internally, where would I connect with peace in my physical body or in my mind right now? Ask that to be revealed. Where is peace for me in this moment? Some of you may feel it in your heart. Some of you may feel it in your solar plexus. Some of you may feel it as an emanation, a cloud, if you will, an energetic cloud surrounding you, embracing you. No matter where you feel it, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that there is a sense of peace sitting within you already. And as you acknowledge it, as you pay attention to it, as you look for it, as you seek it, you will find it. So if you have a strong desire for peace, seek it. Invite it in, because it is always available within the unified field. And now take a nice, beautiful breath in for yourself, feeling yourself centered deeply into your body. Choosing to be in your body. Become aware of the fact that you not only have a physical body, but you have many energetic bodies as well that help you navigate each and every day. Connect into that center point of peace for yourself. And as you do, take another breath in. And you're invited to open your eyes if they close down during this experience. And rejoin this live, rejoin this experience in this moment, but see yourself opening up into the world again, even if you're looking at your phone or your computer. But the idea is that you connect into that sense of peace that you just found, that you just discovered. Maybe that's the center point of peace for you always. Maybe it feels like a little golden seed within your heart. Maybe it feels like a relaxing in that solar plexus area. Maybe it feels like a sensation in your big toe. The truth is, it doesn't matter, but you know, and you've connected with it being there, and you know it's possible for you to embody peace and connect with peace and look for it and find it. and hold it precious and dear to you each and every day. And this is how we can create a big impact in the world. And thank you so much for those of you who are here today. I see your names. It's a pleasure to see your names. And thank you for those of you I know who listen later. There's so many of you who message saying they've listened later, and so that's wonderful too. Definitely want to acknowledge you. I don't want you to feel left out. And I hope you have a wonderful, incredible, peaceful Wednesday. And let's do this for bringing this more into our everyday lives and really extending that out to the people who are close to us, and then the people who maybe aren't so close to us, but they're in our sphere, and then be able to see that rippling out into the world. It's possible. We are incredible creators. Have a wonderful day.